Hey guys, welcome back to Weekenders on the Water. Today we're here in the garage, and today we're going to talk about how to mount an Insta360 on your Sea-Doo. So let's go. Alright guys, so over the years I have tried a few different DIY methods to mount my Insta360 camera onto my Sea-Doo, and I oftentimes get asked, how do you do that? Well, let's go over the options. I have 3 different DIY methods that I've used, and all work relatively well. I'll go over them, how they work, how I made them, and what are the pros and cons. So let's get into it. All right, first off, if you're new to the channel, this is my 2021 Sea-Doo GTI SE 170. I also have a 2017 Sea-Doo GTI SE 130, so this is the older style, this is the newer style. Most of these are going to be for the newer style, which I think most people at this point have. So let's talk about it. All right, so here you can see are a couple of different mounting options that I have used over the years. So the first one that we're going to talk about is this one. So this is basically goes on here, where this is the normal ski pylon slot. You can see here's the stock ski pylon. These things are really cheap, really easy to replace. They only cost about $7 or so. You can order a new one, and I'll put links in the description below for Amazon for most of the stuff that you can buy. This makes it super easy to mount it there. That way you don't have to make any serious commitments. I found center on it, drilled a hole. But one thing you can see is about this is that it's super flimsy, right? There's not a whole lot of meat there, not a whole lot to hold this on. So I'll show you the secret. That's underneath here. I actually have a piece of wood. I cut a circle, I spray painted it. Some of the paint has come off at this point, but it was never really going to be like a long-term solution, but it's held up well. I've actually used this for a couple of years now. Key is that you have to cut these little relief gaps here. There are 3 of them around where these parts here kind of push in. So make sure you do that. And then drill a hole through, and then basically just got a stainless steel bolt, a locking washer to go on there. These stainless steel bolts are pretty universal. These are just basically what they use for cameras. So this is a 1/4 inch by -20. So stainless steel, we'll put a link in the description where you can find one of those. I cut a piece of wood out, cut off the little blocking edges here, painted it, hammered it in there, drilled a center hole, and it works really well for the Insta360 extendable invisible selfie sticks. They have a thread there on the bottom, so that just goes on there, and you can screw it down. So you can screw it all the way down. Now, the reason I stopped using this though is because you can see when we went to Bimini, I replaced this and the stock one with one that has a bilge pump hole. So that's what I have now most of the time. It's not actually hooked up at the moment, but that comes out. And then basically you just slip the new one in. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put the actual 360 camera on there. So you can see it sticks on there. It actually holds really well, pretty tight. You just tighten it all the way down. You can see it's on there pretty good. That goes ahead and extends, and you'll get pretty decent shots. I'll go ahead and put in now a clip of me using the camera in this position. Like I said, really the only reason I stopped doing this was because of that bilge pump, that I wanted to use that same space for the bilge pump. Also, one thing I found is that it's, with it being directly behind you, I think the angles are a little bit better if you're off to the side, particularly if you're at an angle. But this is definitely an acceptable method that I have used for a long time. Moving on to method number 2. This right here was my second iteration. So this is basically just a piece of aluminum, just a strap of aluminum. It's about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch thick or so. And I just bent it over, put a kind of like a felt stick-on cover there. Again, that 1/4 inch by 20 bolt, a couple extra bolts there for added stability and spacers, and I'll show you what this is. All right, so the idea with this one is it's actually going to fit right down in here, so you have to do some measurements. Let me grab a caliper. So it doesn't have to be exact, but roughly it's about 1.25 inches wide, about 2 1/4 tall. And like I said, I just kind of folded it over. I don't even have a vise, so you can see it. I didn't do the greatest job of hammering it over. But again, none of this has to be perfect. You're never going to see this. And as long as it holds, it does its job. The idea is it fits down in here. So what we got to do is we have to take this back deck off. So one moment while I do that. And a little trick for you is you can use your original ski pylon cap there to hold all your bolts. Additional bonus tip is before you take this back deck off, make sure your link things are extended so that way you don't lose them. But yeah, basically this comes off. You can see just how much room you have down in there. It's quite a bit. So the idea is that's just going to sit right down in there. Obviously now when it's turned upside down. So let's get it back up the right way. All right, so you just slide it up underneath of there like so. And you can see the deck sits flush again. You'll bolt the whole thing down once again. And now, again, basically what you're left with is a just that bolt sticking out the top. So you'll go ahead and screw your camera on once again. And this will be even more sturdy when it's bolted down. But again, you can extend, and there you go. So this is nice because it gives you a little bit of an off-center look. Again, I'll put some footage in of me using it in this configuration. But I like that you can see a little bit more. You're not just staring right at your back. The further off center I think you go. Ideally, if you get way out here is even better, but I like this a little bit better than being directly in the center. And I like that it frees up that center cap. And it's just so much easier, honestly, too. Just if you can get that, just a little piece of aluminum, cut it out with an angle grinder, drill a hole through it. I'll show you. So you can see there's, I had to drill a hole through this side here to be able to feed the bolt all the way through. But again, it doesn't really matter because none of this ever gets seen. But yeah, just kind of a simple C, or, you can do two 90-degree angles. Nice big 1/4 inch bolt there on the end. Some washers to hold it on, locking Teflon nuts. Thing's not going anywhere. So really like this option. It's super compact too. So that's option number 2. Moving on to option number 3. So option number 3, this is on the old ski, and this is actually what we did when we went to Bimini. So this involves using this rack. And the nice thing about this rack is it has these these fishing pole holders already installed. Again, this is like a cheap rack. I got it secondhand off of Facebook Marketplace. It doesn't have to be this exact one. I'm sure you can find something similar out there, and I'll even put a link in the description. I know that there are similar products already on Amazon, but basically just something with a fishing rod holder. If you had the fishing rod holders up front, they come with the Sea-Doo, that you can buy as an optional accessory with Sea-Doo. I think that's an option as well. But basically, I'll show you the trick to this one because it's super technical. Not really. Basically, this fishing rod holder has no bottom. This one over here does. There's a plastic bottom on that, but this one does not, and it was like that when I bought it. I don't know if the previous person had done something with it or they just broke it. I don't really care because I'm not really a fisherman. So, sorry, but that's one thing you'll probably not see much on this channel, if ever, is fishing. Just not for me. Nice thing about that is you can then take your Insta360 selfie stick. Again, we'll use the one that already has the Insta360 on it. And you slide that down in there. Maybe give yourself a little bit of extra room here. So now you have it like this. You can see it's coming out the bottom. So again, that hole is on the bottom here. And the key is what you need is one of these things here. So again, it's that 1/4 inch by 20, 1/4 inch dash 20 mounting. And this one's got like a little clip on the, or a little like, I don't know, hole on the, cut on the end. I've attached a key ring to that. And you can go ahead and just screw this thing right on there. So now what you're left with is a key ring sticking out the bottom of this thing. Next, what you do is get yourself a zip tie. If you got a long enough one, you're good. I have cheap short zip ties, so I have 4 of them stuck together. And then just basically run that through the bottom loop, bring it up, make sure that you cross it for added stability, and wrap it around the back side of your thing there, the back side of the selfie stick, and then just kind of tighten it up. So now what you end up with this, you can clean up these things there if you want. And now what you're looking at, you can see that's in there. Well, if the rack was attached to the ski, but it's attached to the rack. What I really like about this setup is you can see it kind of juts out from the ski at like a 45-degree angle because the fishing rod holder is mounted. So this gives, I think, the best view because now you're at the side and you're at this angle extended out. So you'll get the best view of what the rider's doing as well as everything that's going on in front and around the rider. And of course, I'll put in some footage of what that looks like from our Bimini trip here, so you can see what kind of angles we're talking about. Only thing left to cover is how to mount the rack. Various racks have different ways to mount them. Depending on your rack, is maybe different. Basically for mine, because I did this with the older one, I went stainless steel ratchet strap from this bar to here, and then another one from these ones down here, these eyelets down here, up around this loop and back down here. So two ratchet straps, one for the back half, one for the front, and that held perfectly. Now if you have one of those real nice expensive racks that work with your link system, you can obviously do that. Various different racks have different mounting styles, so if you have a rack, you probably already know. Anyways, not to ramble anymore, that's basically the 3 different methods that I have used to mount my Insta360 invisible camera to my Sea-Doos. Now, coming up next week, I actually have a new method that is not only going to allow me to mount an Insta360 camera, but also should allow me to fly a flag. So we're going to cover that next week, do a full review. We're going to be out on the water. We're going to be testing it. So make sure that you subscribe because you don't want to miss out on that. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Remember to hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Really help us out. This is a brand new channel. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers and really appreciate every subscriber. Your support means a ton. And definitely make sure you subscribe now because you want to be one of those people that looking back years later, you can say that you were one of the original supporters of the Weekenders on the Water before they got big, before they got huge, before everyone knew who they were. You were one of the first 1,000. So be part of the 1,000 club, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Really helps us out. So with that being said, we are out of here and we'll see you next weekend. Oh, and let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these methods? Did I show you something new? Do you have your own way of mounting your own Insta360 camera, your own GoPros? Let me know in the comments below how you do it. Plenty of people are always asking for this type of content, and we really want to try to create a community here. So let us know in the comments below. Get that community and those comments flowing. We really appreciate it. So that's it. Bye. And again, we use the one that in the garage, and today we're going to be talking about how to mount. All right, so starting over again. So the first one that we're going to talk about is this one. So let me move these others out of the way. Hey guys, welcome back to